It is Tuesday night, and we are live for the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series tonight. It's round number 5. The Islander in 125 from the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I am Jeff By Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. And Bill, you're finally back, and you finally have a voice. You can speak tonight.
I mean, somewhat, Jeff. I don't think I sound like myself completely, but I'm going to give her a go. I'm not as under the weather as I was yesterday. I like how you put that, by the way.
Well, it's good to have you back as we head into Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes qualifying. We have 39 drivers here tonight trying to qualify. Just 30 going to make it to the A main, but it starts with Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes qualifying. $5, 5 bonus points on the line to your quick qualifier, and top 22 going to lock themselves straight into tonight's feature event. Again, another huge field. We've been averaging about 40-something drivers in this series. A lot of newcomers tonight as well. So 39 going for just 30 spots.
It's so tough to get into these races, right, Jeff? So the B main actually going to mean something tonight, unlike last night. And yes, when we ran the slow dash last night, I might have.
I knew you would. I knew you'd cringe there when you heard slow dash, but that's what we ended up with last night. Everybody transferred. We started 31 since we had 31 show up. No sense sending one guy home, but tonight about 39 cars going to make an attempt, so we're going to send some people home tonight. As Jason Warren, first car on the racetrack, first one to make a lap, goes top of the board, 19.018. Josh Oswald went second. Now he gets bumped by James Pileski. So Warren, Pileski, Oswald, your top 3. Mason Johnson to the top of the board ties Jason Warren, 19.018. It must go back to 4 digits, and now Brendan Lee bumps them both back. Brendan Lee to the top of the board, 18.977. First driver into the 18s here in qualifying.
Brendan Lee had some experience last night on this track. Had a good run in the late model shootout series. Showing that experience off tonight as he's going to stay top of the board.
I feel like tonight's going to be one of those nights where experience from last night is going to be very valuable, because we learned a lot about last night, about what this race will be like last night, and it is going to be tire management. Tire management, you're going to hear that a lot tonight, as Ricky Howell goes P2 behind Brendan Lee. Reagan Parent to second on the board, 18.992 for Reagan, goes P2, bumps Ricky Howell back to third.
Got some new faces on the racetrack this week, Jeff.
Yeah, RKM sent us some drivers this week. So the Ryan Kuhn Motorsports boys coming out in the Challenger Series this week. Still sitting Brandon Lee at the top, Reagan Parent, Ricky Howell, Mason Johnson, Jason Warren. Now we're still waiting on a few drivers. Josh Cossack never came back, so still waiting to see if Josh Cossack is going to make it back in attempt tonight's race.
He's a race winner from Langley.
Yeah, and he's in that points battle as well. So Josh, I would assume he was going to be here, but maybe not.
Whoa, Tony Quadros goes P8, Jeff. We talked to him before, and he was frustrated about his speed on the racetrack, and he finds it there. Goes P8 on the board, so nice job by the 12 car.
Yeah, he just sent it there. He was struggling. He was talking about just trying to get in the top 30, and there he goes, P8 in qualifying, gets it into the show. Last driver going to lock themselves into the show. The Professor, Terry Bates, goes P22, going to go straight to the A main.
Right, Terry.
Yeah, that means we got a B main coming at you, and looks like we're going to start 17 cars in this B main.
And the first car in the pole, Jeff, is going to shock you. We talk about the loaded fields in our B mains. Actually, there's a whole bunch of cars in this field. You're going to go, what the heck? But yeah, go ahead and fire them off.
B-main. Stacked B main as we start off on the front row for B main. If the only B main tonight, the 72 Bladen Edwards, former champion in the series, 2-time quick qualifier this year, going to go to the B main. On the outside of him in the 01 machine, it's Caleb W. Hill.
Starting third in the number 18 car, it is JP Bergeron. He's been on the podium twice this season. And starting to his outside in the 22 machine, it's Blake Thronberg.
Starting fifth in the B main, the 31 of Brad Carpenter. On the outside of him in the number 2 machine, it's Todd Cousins.
John Piette's going to roll off P7 in the number 5 and to his outside in the number 39. We've seen him win a B main in a prior race. It's Scott Negus.
Starting ninth tonight in this B main. He's going to need to gain a spot if he wants to race tonight. It's the 43 of Josh Cole. On the outside of him in the 98 machine, it's Sam Westine.
Josh Vanger is going to roll off P11 in the number 83 car and to his outside. New to the series as far as I'm aware, Jeff, because I wasn't here last week. In the 10 car, that's Chris Tinsley.
Starting 13th in the B main, the 03 of Jason Lotridge. On the outside of him in the 19 machine, it's Cade Green.
And there's one that you don't normally see starting this far back. In the 8 car, it's Braxton DeWeese. And supposed to start 16th was Josh Kosick. Looks like he hasn't made the call, Jeff.
Nope. And then another newcomer going to join us at the rear of the field, the number 107. That is Chris Adkins. And he is going to start 17th in tonight's field. So here we go. We're going to take 8 cars into the feature event from this B main. Pace car going to head off the racetrack. Going to leave Bladen Edwards and Caleb W. Hill on the front row. JP Bergeron, your series points leader in this B main, going to start 3rd. We are off and away racing in the B main.
Bladen Edwards going to get a good jump down in a turn to number 1. Caleb Hill and Jean-Philippe Bergeron, they're going to battle for the 2nd spot. They'll be side by side off of turn 2.
JP Bergeron trying to take that 2nd spot as Bladen Edwards has checked out already. A little contact between Hill and JP Bergeron. That's going to allow Thornburg to take a look underneath Bergeron. He thought better of it. Not going to try 3 wide this early in the B main.
Caleb Hill on the high side. JP Bergeron on the bottom. Bergeron's going to give Caleb Hill the spot, though. A single file down the back straightaway a little farther back. Got a battle for the 5th position. Brad Carpenter and Todd Cousins. They're battling. Now Carpenter pulls ahead on that one. Here comes John Piette in the 5.
Piette made the race last night in the late model shootout series. He got a little bit of experience as he tries to go around Todd Cousins. Trouble behind them. I see the 83 of Angor around. Sam Westine involved. And this is going to bring out a yellow.
See what happened to Vanger as they went into turn number 1.
Look at Sam trying to come to the bottom as the 83 was there. He was lifting for the incident cars in front of him. And as Sam came to the bottom of the racetrack, he just kind of ran into the back of Anger.
The 19 caught in that one as well. That's Cade Green.
And then there was an incident. There was an incident after going down the back straightaway. Scott Negus in the 5 get together, John Piette. And that was after the caution, I believe.
Oh my goodness. John Piette hit the wall so hard in the 5. I think he gets hooked by the 2. Oh my gosh. He lost the nose piece and then it came back somehow.
Well, that was an interesting take on the new damage model there, but
yeah.
I guess he hit so hard he broke the damage model.
Basically, I mean, it rips the right front right off the car. Negus caught in it. Josh Cole's caught in it. Man, oh man, did he hit the wall.
And that's a tough break for John Piette and Todd Cousins because they were in transfer positions and get caught up after the incident happened and are now probably out of this one. As hard as both of those cars hit, I just don't see them being able to get back on the racetrack and do anything.
I just think the 2 walks down the racetrack a little bit there and hooks John Piette. I don't think John was that, he wasn't up on the racetrack or anything like that.
Yeah, weird situation there. That's going to really mess up our field here. Bladen Edwards still out front. Caleb Hill, JP Bergeron, Blake Thronberg, your top 4. Brad Carpenter, 5th. Where Piette was supposed to be was 6th. That's going to move Josh Cole up to the 6th spot. Scott Negus going to move up to 7th. And then Vanger, who was involved in the incident, looks like he's going to go back up to the 8th position. So a break there for the 83. Scott Negus also going to get a spot back. Kate Green will rejoin behind them as pace car lights go out. So, Bill, we're going to double them back up for the B main. That took quite a bit of our time there, so we might be up against the time limit as these guys were scheduled to go 20 laps, but that first big wreck there might have eaten a lot of the clock.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one.
20 laps or 12 minutes, whichever comes first, is Bladen Edwards, Caleb Hill on that front row of the B main. We're looking for 8 cars to go into tonight's Islander in 125. Bladen's going to take them back to the green flag, and he is off and away. Caleb Hill didn't get a great restart there, but JP Bergeron not really able to do anything with them there, as they're going to be side by side in turn 1, and that's going to allow Bladen Edwards to just drive away.
Side by side through turns 1 and 2. Hill, a little bit of a slide off in the corner. Does a good job fighting on the high side. We saw this last night, Jeff. A lot of side-by-side racing, and Hill was able to fight JP Bergeron off. In the first restart, they'll make contact off of 4. You saw JP wiggle the car as he felt the contact from the 01. They stay side-by-side through 1 and 2.
And you know JP, he's your points leader, and he's got to be thinking, hey, let's not do that in the B main. Let's just make it into the show. But Caleb Hill, he's fighting for every spot he can get right now as he's running second, cautioning it away for an incident further back. I see Van Gore again involved. Cade Green, Jason Lottridge gets collected in that as well. So the 83 machine off to a rough start tonight.
Kind of looks like a group of cars, but I think it looks like it started.
Yeah, it started with the 03. Lottridge trying to make a move on Braxton DeWeese.
Oh, DeWeese involved. Yeah, you see that. Okay, we'll try to pick that up from the beginning here. Lottridge gets down below. I think he was almost there, just didn't quite lift soon enough, and DeWeese had to lift for the 10. And Negus involved again, but Negus gets away without a ton of damage. Kate Green not able to avoid. Just tough, man. Just tight racing right now.
Yeah, Braxton cut down in front of Jason, and honestly, if Jason had kind of held his line, it was his position there, but he actually let the 8 car in, and then he kind of ran to the back of him. So it's one of those things. If you're going to let the guy down, you got to back off a little bit more than that. So the 03 going to go to the rear of the field for causing that caution. So it shouldn't
piled in too. That was big damage late.
So Frank Griffith in the chat. Mason Johnson, who will be racing later on tonight, is in the Facebook chat. Frank Griffith cheering for AJ Rogers, who will be racing later on tonight. Bucky Matthews in the chat. Brendan Lee. Justin Brooks is here. Mason Johnson says he's got Cody Kelly in the spotter stand tonight, and that is somebody to have in your corner, isn't it?
No. Just kidding. Yeah, that's a pretty good, but, he doesn't have the advice from last night. That's going to be kind of a problem, right?
Yeah, Cody did not partake in last night's race, but if there's anybody that understands late model stock car,
he's been on fire in iRacing, right?
Yeah, so Cody Kelly definitely one you want in your ear talking you through the race. So pace car going to head off the racetrack. We are doubled up. It'll be JP Bergeron on the outside of your leader, Bladen Edwards, this time. Caleb Hill back into the 3rd spot. JP tried to sucker Bladen a little bit, and then Bladen gets the best of him, drives away on this restart.
The reason I said no, I wouldn't want him on my box is because I would be embarrassed the entire time driving slow with Cody Kelly telling me what to
do. Jeff By Senior in the chat. Glad to have you back, Bill. He says he's happy you got your voice back.
Thanks, Jeff.
So your B main back underway. We're kind of looking to see how the transfer positions play out. Now Chris Tinsley up into 7th. Josh Van Gore, who's been involved in 2 incidents already, back into the 8th and final transfer spot, but he's got Braxton DeWeese trying to get there.
It's not a guy you want hunting you, is it? Braxton DeWeese, fast driver in that 8 car, and he is on the move, trying to get to that transfer position. Wants to be in the same main event.
Yeah, Braxton DeWeese enters tonight 5th in the series standings, and there is no provisionals. You got to show up and you got to qualify your way in every single night. And Braxton DeWeese, he needs to find a spotter. He is not going to be racing tonight as he is trying to put the pressure on Van Gore.
Yeah, making the move right now through turns 1 and 2. DeWeese to the bottom, down the back straightaway. Van Gore gets a little bit sideways off of turn number 2. But DeWeese going to be to the bottom. Van Gore's got a damaged race car, Jeff. Probably not able to fight him off. As you can see, he's sideways off of 4 once again.
Well, he's going to tuck in behind Braxton, and the car in front of him, Chris Tinsley, he's got a little bit of damage as well. So if he can tuck in behind Braxton, it is not over yet. Let the 8 car pull you up to the 10 and maybe try to race this 10 machine of Chris Tinsley.
Josh Cole is right there as well in the 43 or the 9, depends on how you look at it. DeWeese still on the move. He is in the transfer position right now, but Chris Tinsley starting to see that 8 car creep into his mirror right behind him down the back straightaway. He doesn't want to see that as he gets sideways into turn number 3.
Yeah, the 10 car up the racetrack. Here comes Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese going to try to put a buffer between him and the transfer position here. You're not missing anything up front. Bladen Edwards still out front of JP Bergeron. Caleb Hill still runs 3rd.
Oh, and now a little bit of contact between Tinsley and DeWeese through turn 3. Here comes Vanger. Here's the battle for the transfer spot.
So Vanger going to take that 8th and final transfer position. Now the pressure is on Chris Tinsley to try to get there.
He slid it off at turn number 2, trying to get back to the throttle too quickly. And now Tinsley on the outside looking at his Vanger's in the A main as it stands.
Well, up front, JP Bergeron has started to gain on Bladen Edwards. But that battle really doesn't matter, is really the focus is on that transfer position that is currently held by Josh Vanger. And Vanger has not made a race this season. This would be his first time making a feature event. So he's had 4 attempts, hasn't made it in. He is trying to get in the show for the first time this season.
Like Thronberg, Caleb Hill, they're going to battle for the 3rd spot. Thronberg looking to the inside, just behind him. Braxton DeWeese still on a mission. He's looking around Josh Cole. You see them pop into the picture just above this battle.
A battle for the lead as JP Bergeron goes around Bladen Edwards. Edwards going to just let him go, fall in line. So your top 2 have kind of settled things as JP Bergeron out front of the B main.
Braxton DeWeese and Cole still side by side. I don't like this, Jeff. I just think if you're Cole, let him go. He's obviously quicker. He's caught you. He's to the inside. Cole can do what he wants. This scares me. I would race the guy for a position here.
Yeah, not this late in the B main. If anything happened, it's race over. So Braxton DeWeese trying to clear Cole. Cole just not giving an inch. Now Thronberg's in trouble. Caleb Hill involved. Thronberg involved.
This is what I'm talking about. There was no reason.
That was the 3rd and 4th place cars. They were in the show. They just had to finish a couple more laps, and they get together, and possibly neither of them might make the race.
And I think Caleb Hill, let's see here. We're looking at the replay.
It looks like a little net code to me, just so close together.
Yeah, it's really close. Almost contact there. But I think in the end, you're just going to see net code between these 2 cars. It's just not necessary.
Yeah, racing when you really didn't need to be racing there, and that's going to take 2 guys out of the feature event. Thronberg was having such a great season. He came into the 7th in points, not going to make the race. JP Bergeron gets the win here under yellow checkered. Bladen Edwards 2nd. Looks like Brad Carpenter going to come home 3rd. Josh Cole 4th. Braxton DeWeese, Josh Vanger, Chris Tinsley, and Jason Lottridge going to make it to the A main.
Oh, Jeff, that breaks my heart, man. Man, you just watch Thronberg and Caleb Hill, who were solidly in the field, doing a great job, racing really well. Just no reason to race each other there.
Yeah, and that is heartbreak for Thronberg because he's been on a fantastic run. And just 7th in points coming in tonight. He was in that battle for a championship spot. We're race 5 of 8 in the regular season, and didn't make it in.
course, 2 minutes of warm-up for these drivers that have been sitting after qualifying, other than the guys that ran in that B main. They can warm up as well. So these are your A main cars out on the racetrack. See them circulating from the blimp view. Jeff, we have a blimp this week.
Sorry, what were you saying?
We have a blimp this week. I don't know who funded it. It's definitely not Goodyear.
Well, remember, we got the Steiner Motorsports chopper cam
That's
in
right.
there as well. So I did get to call them out last night. So Steiner Motorsports presenting the chopper cam. We'll hopefully see that a few times tonight as we're getting set to go. Final warm-ups on track for the top 30 drivers in our feature event tonight.
We definitely used the Stinger Motorsports chopper cam. In fact, we used it during the B main tonight. So,
oh, there we go. We're already using the Steiner Motorsports chopper cam, and I know
right.
Frank is in the Facebook chat watching tonight. Zach Onan in the house said, "Oh my God, Jason Warren is racing," and that is Sarah Contender Series winner Jason Warren.
That's right. He did win a race. It was a couple weeks ago.
Elliot Carlson was pointing that out.
Elliot Carlson, top 10 last night in the late model shootout series.
And I'm telling you, man, that experience that those guys picked up last night, they saw what the tire wear was. They got a 125 lap run last night. They got to see the tire wear. That is going to be huge tonight as we go gridding for the Islander Inn 125 tonight. And Bill, the Islander Inn, man, it's how do you always phrase it?
It's a Caribbean resort in Ohio.
And Rick Rube has been sending us stuff about the new sound system there, and it sounds like it's going to be a party at the Islander Inn.
I know. And it's the number one resort destination in Ohio. I think it's in that part of Ohio, maybe in Put-in Bay. Or is it called Put-in Bay? Yes.
Well, Bill, it is time to grid for tonight's Islander Inn 125. John Piette in the chat. CJ Grooms here as well. Corey Bigley cheering for the Revelry and SPM guys. John Piette was saying he's just released from the care center. They will build back better for next week with that number 5 machine. Sorry, John, that happened to you, but good to see you. You'll be back next week. And here we go. Islander Inn 125. Your invert was 6 tonight. And that is going to move the 78 of Cody Bohm to the front row. On the outside of him, starting second, the 45. That is Sarah Contender Series winner, Jason Warren.
Starting third in the number 7 machine, it is Mason Johnson. And to his outside in the number 20, Ricky Howell Jr.
Starting fifth tonight will be the 17 of Reagan Parent. On the outside of him, your Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes quick qualifier, the 10 car of Brandon R. Lee.
Kieran Church rolls off 7 in the number 22 machine, and to his outside in the number 12, it's Tony Quadros.
Mark Keatman making his debut here in the Challenger Series will start 9th in car number 2. On the outside of him, the 38 machine, it's Travis Roma.
Starting 11th in the 93, but it looks like he might have missed the grid, Jeff, in the 93. That's James Pileski. And to his outside in the number 16 is Bryce Fauntleroy.
Starting 13th tonight will be the 26 of Drew Chance. Also looks like he missed his the grid. Starting 14th will be the 2 car of JJ Chansey.
Starting 15th in the number 71, that's Uncle Pete, Peter Fisher. And to his outside, another nickname. It's starting 16th in the 81. It's the ravishing one, Rick Rube.
Starting 17th tonight will be Mr. Thunderstruck himself, Josh Oswald, in the 17 car. On the outside of him in the 07, it's Kyle Martinson.
Hunter Harriet rolls off P19, the number 81, and to his outside of the number 17, it's AJ Rogers.
Starting 21st tonight, the 09 of Elliot Carlson, the Joker. On the outside of him in the number 88 machine, it's the Professor, Terry Bates.
JP Bergeron rolls off P23 in the number 18 and to his outside, and he also missed. Apparently, Jeff, we didn't make the call to the grid because we had 3 cars missing. The 72 car of Clayton Edwards.
Brad Carpenter will roll off 25th on the 31 machine. On the outside of him in the number 9, it'll be Josh Cole.
Braxton Deweese rolls off P27 in the number 8 and to his outside, making his first appearance in an A main this season in the 83 car. It's Josh Vanger.
Starting 29th tonight in the number 10 machine, it'll be Chris Tinsley. On the outside of him in the 03, it'll be Jason Lottridge. And that is your 30 starters for tonight's Islander Inn 125.
a big field of race cars, Jeff. That is a big field of race cars. Lights are out on the pace truck. Apparently we busted the truck out again this week. I think I've been liking the truck lately. That's a short track thing.
Yeah, I do like the truck. That thing is pretty cool. What we have, a Mustang, we have the Cadillac or something.
It is a sedan, and it sounds very, very V6-ish. So I went with the V8 of the truck. That it's getting a little aged though. I don't know what year that Silverado. It's a Silverado clearly, but I don't know what year it's supposed to be. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me a good guess on that year. But I think we need some new pace vehicles here.
Yeah, I think it's about time. It's been a while since we've got a new one. You know what would be really nice if iRacing would give us the opportunity to paint our own custom pace car.
There you go.
An ITZR pace car. So if anybody from iRacing's official offices is watching, maybe you can work on that. And Jeff Biciner cheering for Rick Rube, Michael Grooms cheering for Brendan Lee. As the pace car's heading off the racetrack, here we go for the Islander in 125. It's Cody Boehm taking us to the green flag. Jason Warren alongside on the outside of him. Cody's got control of this restart. He's making him wait, and we got trouble. Kieran Church is already going around.
Yellow has not flown, Jeff. We had cars clear.
And that's big trouble for Kieran Church. And now we got to take a look at the restart or the start here, because it looked like Jason Warren kind of beat
Kieran
the
Church still sitting on the racetrack. We got cars piling up off of 4. Kieran Church had all day and tomorrow to get that car fired and did not. There was a big wreck. I saw Roma was involved. That's Travis Roma in the 38. His car is he's junked. The motor's blown in the 38 car. So
yeah, Roma involved. Rick Rube, the 2 of JJ Chansey.
So we got a lot to unpack on this one. Take a look at this one for Travis Roma. We saw Roma's day is over. Well,
it looked like Roma got hooked together with Peter Fisher.
I mean, when you're coming back for the the second lap, no, I'm kidding. 3 wide going into 3. I don't know what happens there. Does Roma walk up the hill a little bit?
It's just kind of a weird deal. It looked like Peter Fisher just kind of hooked him in the right rear there.
Yeah, he just gets a really good run. And just absolutely junks the 83 car. Rick Rube is involved. That's JJ Chansey involved. You see Kieran Church still sitting down there. So we'll try to figure out what happened to Kieran Church as well. The initial start was a disaster. Here's the initial start with Kieran Church. I think the outside car, I think Jason Warren just went. And the leader got hit from behind, which Jason probably thought he was going, but he never did. And then it just stacks. Mark Keatman gets in the back of the 22 of Church, and he gets hit. And Church just started to spin around and then just stopped.
So what ended up happening there with the 45? The 45 was out in front of the 78 before the start-finish line, along with the 20. So both of those cars were considered jumped. They're going to have to give those spots back. So Cody Boehm going to go back to the lead here.
Jeff, that start and entire first lap was known as a disaster. I don't think there's anything else for that. I would go to the backup cars. Let's just go to the backup cars. I'm kidding. It wasn't raining or anything. So. Jeff doing some race control on the radio.
Yeah, this scoring got a little mixed up here, so we're just trying to sort this all out.
So we'll just follow your current leader around the racetrack right now in the 78 machine. That's Cody Boehm. Obviously, that restart was, or making the initial start was not something that was to be desired. I think the 45 of Jason Warren got hit from behind, which made Or at least the 78 did. That made Warren think they were going. Yeah, and you cannot go beyond the leader, and they both beat the 78 to the line. So they're dropping back to second and third.
Yeah, as you said it's on the leader. He gets control to start, and even if you think he's waited too long, you got to wait on him. And Jason Warren and Ricky Howell both had him cleared by the start-finish line. That is not a good restart, so.
Got to wait till we get to the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone. Cody Bohm is the control car once we get to the BSRM restart zone. We've got an issue, Jeff. The 10 car decided to.
Yeah.
I don't know what the 10 car's doing. Is he getting a lap back? Is that what we're getting a waiver in?
Yeah, he ended up a lap down. We gave him a wave a couple laps ago, and he waited till the one to go, so we had to delay the green there.
That's right. That gives the pace truck an opportunity to rally. Have some fun stuff around the bottom of the racetrack.
So, yeah, I think we're going to be ready this time. I think we got them all sorted out. That was a wild situation there with the yellow coming out right at the start, and that just mixes everything up. We had to get the 78 out front. So here we go. We are going back to green flag racing. The Islander in 125. Cody Bohm, single file restart. They did not complete a lap. And we are racing finally for the Islander in 125. The 78 machine, Cody Bohm out front. And here comes Brendan Lee, your quick qualifier. And he got blocked there from the 20 of Ricky Howell. Howell came down the racetrack and shut the door on Brendan Lee.
You saw that down the back straightaway. Everybody's single file right now. Now we've got one poking out. I believe that's Hunter Harriet that's going to look to make a move. He looks to the inside of Tony Quadros. Hey Jeff, do you think any of these guys got the note of the notice from last night where if you run too hard, the tires go poof?
Well, we certainly talked about it in the drivers' meeting. We made them very well aware that last night some people did not make it on tires. You cannot go flat out for 125 laps and make it to the end on tires. We got some guys already going for it. Mason Johnson was looking underneath Brandon Lee, but here comes Hunter Harriet. The 81 machine is on the move. He's trying to take a spot from Reagan Parent, and Reagan looks content to just let him have it.
Oh, I think Reagan knows exactly what he's doing. He was in that race last night and had a decent run. Reagan just let Hunter Harriet go and said, "Go on, friend. I'll see you later."
And Reagan was one of those drivers that made a note last night that was the best car on the racetrack at the end, and Elliott ran around in the back for most of the night.
Yeah, Elliott. We got a little bit of a glitch there, Jeff. We're back in business. But Elliott ran around about in 26th for a lot of that race, and then turned the wick up with about 50 to go and drove through the field.
Well, Cody Bohm is out front. Jason Warren trying to reel him in. Brandon Lee holds on to third with Ricky Howell. Mason Johnson in the fifth spot. Hunter Harriet on the move early. He started 19th, and he is up to 6th. So Hunter's using him up right now. He is going for it as he's bringing along Bryce Fauntleroy. Started 12th. He is up to 7th position. Tony Quadros runs 8th. Josh Oswald started 17th. He is up to 9th. Kyle Martinson started 18th. He is up to the 10th position. Bill, this is what we wanted to see. Green flag runs, and we are already seeing it right here in this A main, the Islander in 125. And last night we had a long green flag run, and these guys trying to repeat it. We talk about it. There's a little bit of a rivalry between the Tuesday night guys and the Monday night guys. When they have a good race, they want to show off and do just as well as the other series did.
Yeah, we'll see what happens tonight. Right now, looking so far so good after we got past that initial start. Mark Keeman just made a move on Elliott Carlson. We just talked about it, Jeff. Elliott Carlson was the litmus test last night for this racetrack. He drove that car around really slow for a long time and had a really fast car at the end, but Keeman started to put pressure on Kyle Martinson at 10th.
Well, Mason Johnson on the move. He goes around Brendan Lee, so he takes over the 3rd position. Remember, he's got Cody Kelly in his ear telling him what to do. And Mason Johnson is set to go to the front right now. He is already up to 3rd, and he is looking for Jason Warren, who's running 2nd.
Well, I'm in Cody Kelly's ear right now, telling him to slow down. Slow down. Don't burn him up.
Well, the other guy is not slowing down. That's Hunter Harriet. He is in 5th spot, and he is working over the fast qualifier, Brendan Lee, who runs 4th right now. And Hunter Harriet was definitely in a hurry to get to the front. He looks like he might have slowed his pace down a little bit. I think he gained some track position, and now he's settling in. Kyle Martinson trying to make a move on Tony Quadros. He gets together with the 12. Now he's going to go around on the back straightaway, noses it into the backstretch wall. Kyle Martinson, and he is going to call it a night, it looks like. So caution out on lap 20 of this one as Quadros and Kyle Martinson get together. I think this is going to be one for possibly the Steiner Motorsports chopper cam, because this is a tight one. Off turn 2, the 12 maybe pinching a bit. The 07 gets into the left rear quarter panel.
I don't know, man.
To me, it just almost looks like the 12 never quite gets to the outside line coming off the corner there. Kyle has to check up for him, and when he does, he makes contact, and then the 2 car just nowhere to go, kind of turns Kyle Martinson around. I don't think that's Mark Keatman's fault at all there.
No, I can't blame that on Keatman. Quadros is up the track. I mean, he gives Martinson 0 room on the bottom, but Martinson's really not there, right? I mean, that's a late move, if anything. He doesn't really ever have anything on the straightaway. Quadros drives it into the corner, kind of walks back up the track, and then Martinson just hits him. Never really had position on the 12 car. Just kind of got into the left rear.
Yeah, and I think if Keatman wasn't coming there, they saved that. They're going to be fine. But Keatman coming off the corner there, he's full throttle. He's not expecting anybody to lift on exit of the corner, and just kind of a racing deal, I think, there as the 2 car got in the back of the 07. Just nothing he could really do to react to that one, I don't think. Rick Rube on pit road trying to repair some damage. He was involved in that first incident. He is 1 lap down in 27th position. Kieran Church, the driver, got spun right from the get-go on that initial start. He is on the lead lap in the 26th spot. We have lost Travis Roma, who took that big hit in the outside wall. JJ Chansey is also out of this one, and it looks like we've just lost Kyle Martinson. So 27 cars still in this race.
Yeah, unfortunately, Travis Roma, he had a blown engine after that wreck. We saw that twice quickly. We saw Travis Roma with the issue. Hit the wall head on. That was after John Piet did the same thing in the B main.
Yeah, things happen big here on this track, don't they? I mean, this is a huge half mile. They are flying around this racetrack, and when you hit the wall here, it's big. There is no little hits to the outside wall at a track like this.
They're flying even when they're trying to be saving, right, Jeff?
Yeah, exactly. And Cody Bohm out front setting the pace with Jason Warren. They're going to have this restart here as they head for the BSRM restart zone. That's the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone. Pace car heads off the racetrack. Cody Bohm has control of this one. Now remember, he made Jason Warren wait a little bit last time, but he's going to go early this time. But Warren had him kind of figured out, and he's going to try to get right behind him, maybe try to cross him over into turn 1.
He doesn't. Fall right in line in the 45 car. Down the back straightaway. First battle on the racetrack is going to be with Bryce Fauntleroy. Fauntleroy to the inside of Ricky Howell Jr. in the 16.
Fauntleroy having a good run towards the front here as he tries to get past it. And they just got together. Hal had to check out of it. You saw Hal lift to keep the 16 from getting turned to the wall, and that cost him another spot to the 2 car of Mark Keatman.
Yeah, I can't breathe. That was terrifying. I thought that was going to be a huge one right there.
Well, Bill, don't look now. Look who's crawling into the top 10 right now. Your B-main winner, JP Bergeron, going to cross the line and be scored, looks like the 10th position right there. And now he's going to get hit from James Pileski. Elliot Carlson has to check up. Here comes Josh Oswald. He's going to take advantage of this.
Josh Josh Oswald, Josh Cole. There comes Bladen Edwards in the 72. Bladen Edwards started from pit lane. He's made his way all the way up to the 14th spot.
Josh Oswald gonna try to get around James Pileski. Pileski fighting back on the outside and making it difficult here on the 17 machine. Down the back straightaway. It looks like Pileski gonna clear Josh. Oswald gonna fall back in line, but here comes another Josh. Josh Cole on the outside trying to maybe take advantage here.
Keedman maybe might have bumped the wall down the back straight. Now Hal Jr. going to run him up the racetrack in turn 3. Saw that a couple times last night where the guy in the bottom would just enter kind of in the middle and didn't really care about the guy on the top. That's what Hal just did. Said, "Sorry, buddy, I'm ahead. I'm gonna go with my line."
So everybody's trying to sort themselves out. As much as they're trying to save, they're all trying to gain stuff. As Ricky Howell sideways on entry to turn 3. That is going to get Mark Keatman and James Pileski all stacked up. Tony Quadros had to take evasive action. Here comes JP Bergeron.
Keatman to the outside of Howell. Howell going to be sideways off of turn 2. Howell absolutely driving the wheels off the 20 car. We know that's not going to be good for later. He's sideways again into turn 3.
Yeah, the one thing we heard, and they just made some contact. Keatman and Alfonso Roy kind of lifted. He chased the 2 car up the racetrack. Keatman is trying to move forward, but man, he is having to avoid cars left and right now.
Oh my goodness! And Ricky Howell just absolutely dumped the 16 car going into 3. What is happening right now?
Bladen Edwards involved as Fauntleroy makes it into the pits. Caution is gonna wave, and you saw it right on the cameras. The 20 machine got into the back bumper of the 16 of Fauntleroy, turned him around. Pileski got a piece of that one. And it looked like maybe Elliot Carlson got a little contact there.
Man, that just, I'm sorry, I don't want to say anything. Fauntleroy just T-boned, literally just went into the tire barrier down into the pit lane. But that just looks like Ricky Howell's paying attention to the 2. And just doesn't really, is it possible you would stop looking forward? I mean, he just piled into the car in front of him. There wasn't a checkup or anything.
It could be that he was just trying to keep that 2 car on the outside, didn't want to give him any room, and just misjudged the corner entry. But it's one of the things we talked about in the drivers' meeting. Hey, you know people are going to be riding early in this race. You cannot just charge the corners. You got to understand that people are saving tires. And Ricky Howell really did charge that corner and ends up taking Fauntleroy around and collecting James Pileski. A couple cars there in the top 10.
So this has been an inauspicious start, Jeff. We are working lap 36 of this race. Many laps to go.
Well, this caution going to help Rick Rube, who is going to get back on the lead lap in the 26th position.
Cody Boehm happy with everything that's going on right now as he's continuing to lead this race and getting a lot of caution laps that'll keep his tires from exploding if he goes too hard. We saw that, Jeff. We counted, what was it, no less than 12 blown tires last night in the late model shootout series race, and that was after a, 70 lap green flag run.
Yeah, and we heard from, was it Peyton Howell?
Baby Shark.
Blew right front and right rear.
Yep.
So both
the right side tires. Yeah. But we also found out something very interesting. If you do blow a tire, it gives you a meatball flag. And people were asking you, can you clear my meatball? Which we do. That's fair. And when you do, it gives you a tire back, but the tire barely works.
Yeah.
So at least you can still race, but you don't have any grip.
Yeah, so you don't want to get to that point. That is a pure just bring the race car home at that point situation. But Cody Boehm out front, this is what happened with Josh Cottle last night. That top spot, you get to be in control. You get to control the pace. That's where you want to be on the racetrack. And Cody Boehm has got it right now. Jason Warren, he's content to ride in second, but we saw it last night. Whoever was in second really wasn't able to do anything with the leader, and it seemed like it wore their tires down. I don't know if it's a situation of maybe dirty air or what, but being out front was much better for the tires than being in traffic. We're going to have a restart as they head for the PSRM restart zone with Cody Boehm on on the front running spot. Jason Warren second, Mason Johnson third, Brendan Lee fourth, Hunter Harriet top 5. Pace car is gone. Cody Bohm gets to control this restart. He's making Jason Warren wait on it, and he is off and away.
Jason Warren with a decent restart out front. Oh, he did not attempt to make any kind of move. He'll fall right back in line. Big gaggle of cars from about 7th on back, making about 5th on back. Hunter Harriet, Mark Keatman, they're side by side for the 5th position. Move Keatman up to that position. Now Keatman's going to look to the outside of Brendan Lee for 4th, and now we got a wreck. Hunter Harriet's in the outside wall in turn 1.
Everybody going to miss the 81 as Hunter Harriet gets collected there on the front straightaway. He got hooked together with JP Bergeron.
Boy.
And that brings out the caution on lap 40, and Hunter Harriet, JP Bergeron just got together, and I'm looking at that one, Bill, and that one's just so tight too. I mean, you got one guy on the outside, one guy on the inside, and they just kind of meet in the middle there.
It is absolutely incredible to me how good these guys are and are not giving each other enough room to race. To me, I'm looking at it from down the front straightaway. I just don't understand it. I don't get it. You guys at home, you guys are in the chat. Tell me what I'm seeing here. I don't know enough about these cars. I haven't raced them at all. But let's do a chopper cam. Let's do a Stinger Motorsports chopper cam. You ready, Jeff?
Steiner Motorsports chopper cam going to give us a look. And man, Bill, I've looked at this thing 3 or 4 times now, and I don't know if I can place blame on either one of them at this point.
I can't either. I just feel like JP's a little bit off the wall. He's a little bit lower than Keatman ahead of him, but Keatman's darn near rubbing the thing. He's kind of in the same lane that Oswald is behind him. It's just too close. I think Hunter's up the track. That's what I think. In the end, I think that's just a little bit too far up the racetrack. And at that point, you're leaving your racing evening up to the guy racing gods. That's what's happening. It was happening in front of him as well. So I think that's probably what Hunter's looking at, is he's following in the tracks, and Keatman and I don't know what car that was. Maybe Mason? Maybe Brendan Lee? I think it was Brendan Lee. They were really, really close together as well. They did not crash. Hunter Harriet did.
Reagan Parent in the chat, and he said he's seen that wreck before. And last week, Reagan Parent got called on one. It was at Irwindale, where I looked at it and I thought, Reagan kind of squeezed up the racetrack, but they're tough calls. They're ball and straight calls that we got to make right there. So sometimes we get them, sometimes we don't, and that's just part of the way it goes in sports and racing, right?
I'd like to put out John Piet does agree with my call on that one. I appreciate that, John. Thank you very much. I did not look at the chat, by the way, until after I made the call, because I'm busy with the camera work and stuff. But yeah, that looked like the 81 just shaded up just a little bit too much. I don't understand. We're on lap 44. You've got 80 laps, more than 80 laps remaining at that moment. Just give each other room. Why don't you try racing each other instead of having to beat each other at every possible moment? We saw a tremendous. I mean, I spent the night. I couldn't talk much, and I was coughing a lot. But the rest of the night, we were watching that race last night, or at least I was. I had a smile on my face. There was so much good racing happening. I think I even commented in the Facebook chat while it was going on, while I was doing the camera work, Jeff. I said, "Man, this is good." And tonight, these guys just don't want to give each other any room.
Well, 6 cautions last night. We were at 4 already in this one. So the Challenger guys already off to a little bit rougher start. But Cody Bohm going to take us to the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone with a 78 machine and the 45 of Jason Warren on the outside. Warren going to try to get a run on him. And at the start-finish line, Cody Bohm's got to be ahead. And he is there. But Jason Warren got a heck of a run. Going to maybe try to take a shot at the 78. Nope, he's going to fall in line.
Battle of the racetrack is John Fleet Bergeron now. Mark Keatman jumps out of line. He's going to look to the inside of Brendan Lee. James Pileski right behind him in the 93 car. Pileski sideways off the corner, almost gets into the back left corner of the 10 car of Lee. They'll be side by side now. Keatman's going to look to go around Mason Johnson in the 7.
They are 3 wide behind them. Tony Quadros and JP Bergeron with Brandon Lee. Mason Johnson has to back out of it. That slows down Lee. So Quadros going to come out of that with 2 spots. Wild racing right now. And what I'm seeing, Bill, is guys aren't wanting to push the pace, but when they get an opportunity to take a spot, they are jumping all over it.
I hope we get enough green flag laps, Jeff, where it comes back to bite some of these guys, and maybe we can say I told you so. But if they keep finding ways to run into each other, no matter where they are in the field, I mean, we've seen wrecking in the top 10, we've seen it in the middle, we've seen it in the, we're gonna have too many yellows, and we're not gonna see the tire wear that we did last night.
Well, I'm watching that 2 car because Mark Keatman has made it to 3rd, and he is pushing the pace right now, and he is starting to really get all over the 45 of Jason Warren, and now down the front straightaway, he is there. He has caught the 45 machine. Here's James Pileski is up. Well, it's on the move. Mark Keatman started 9th. Pileski started 11th. Here comes Keatman looking for 2nd place.
Keatman took a peek at the inside just behind him. JP Bergeron has jumped to the outside now. He's on the outside of Cole. He drove around the 9 car. Now he's to the outside of Brendan Lee. JP Bergeron, I don't think JP has a whole lot of save in that 18 car. I don't know if we've seen him. Oh, and now contact, and now Brendan Lee's going to spin.
Your quick qualifier is in the inside wall, collected here on lap 51. The caution is going to wave for Brandon Lee. Again, contact with JP Bergeron and possibly with Tony Quadros. Bill, to me, it looked like JP might have hit the bump up on the top, and his car just shot to the left, caught the 10 car just mid-corner.
That's, wow. Not from that angle. We just looked at an angle there. It didn't show us much at all. Or is it the 18, or does the 12 and the 10 get together? Because both of those cars get sideways.
See, I'm looking at like just on the exit, right as you start to pick up the throttle, the 18 just kind of jumps down the racetrack, hits the 10 in the right rear, and that gets Brendan Lee up into the door of the 12.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Looking at it from Stinger Motorsports chopper cam, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's where it starts to occur. Because all of a sudden, the 10 just moves right. And Brendan Lee gets some solid damage on the nose of that 10 car. Good news is Nashville's a big racetrack. You can go in the pits, get some of that fixed.
JP Bergeron came into the pits I think he got on the outside wall as well as that one was happening, and he just lost a lap in the pit. So JP gonna be at a huge disadvantage now. I believe Bladen Edwards just got a lap back, so he'll be back on the lead lap in the 25th position. Elliott Carlson on pit road.
So unfortunately, your Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award winner going to be quite a bit behind the 8 ball now, Jeff. He's still sitting back in 20th. So he did get that car righted before the entire field passed him by, but he's got some good damage on the front end of that number 10.
Yeah, it's a tough break for Brandon, and he was near the front most of the night, was running in the top 5 there. Just gets turned around as part of that incident, and now he's going to have to dig his way back to the front, and it's kind of a weird strategy at this point because you might have used up a little too much tire, and now you're in the back, and you might just have to pump this one for a little bit, kind of hang around in the back, save some tire, and try to make a run at the end.
I think you pull an Elliott Carlson.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of ride around the back, hope for a caution late, and then try to just rally.
Speaking of Elliott Carlson and Rick Rue, both on pit lane. Just got off before the pace car, put them a lap down, but they'll stay on the lap that they're on, which is the lead lap.
Robert in the chat cheering for Mark Keatman, who is running 3rd right now in his ITZR debut. That number 2 machine as we head back to the BSRM restart zone for Cody Boehm, Jason Warren, Mark Keatman, James Pileski, and Mason Johnson in your top 5. And remember, the 78 machine has control of this restart. He gets to set the pace here. He's going to make him wait a little bit down onto the front straightaway. We are back green flag racing.
Jason Warren with a really nice restart on the outside. He's going to be the side-by-side with Bohm, but Bohm drives away through 1 and 2, and now Warren going to find some heat from Keatman. Keatman not able to make the move. Here's Pileski in 4th.
Quadros trying to take away 5th as Mason Johnson is on the inside, and Quadros has made it work on the top. Can he clear the 7 machine down into turn 1? Not quite clear, but he's going to have that middle lane, which seems to be heating up right now.
Quadros to the outside, Mason Johnson on the bottom. They'll be side-by-side down the back straightaway down into turn number 3. Mason Johnson going to look to the inside. Almost contact between those two drivers. They'll keep it side-by-side as they come off turn 4.
Behind them, that's Josh Cole in the number 9 machine. Quadros trying to clear Mason Johnson, just can't quite do it. Now down the back straightaway, will finally be clear. There comes the 71 of Peter Fisher, who was the EOL on that initial first accident, went to the rear of the field, and now he's fought his way back into the top 10.
Here comes Hunter Harriet as well in that number 81 machine, Jeff. That's the car right behind Peter Fisher. So some cars that had started a little bit farther back or have been running a little bit farther back, they're starting to make their way forward. Not even halfway at this point, so some guys are already on the gas.
Yeah, weren't we just talking about Hunter Harriet in an accident about
Yep.
10 laps ago? And here he is back in the top 10. So, I mean, no trouble passing cars here at Nashville. It's a matter of how early you want to start using your stuff up to do it. And these guys right now, track position seems to be key. Is Josh Cole going to make the move on Tony Quadros? This is a battle for 5th on the racetrack.
Side by side off of turn number 4. Josh Cole making the move in that number 9 machine. Tony Quadros on the outside. See some of those cars dancing from that camera angle as they came. Oh, and now a little bit of contact sends Quadros up the hill. Good news. That's a big wide racetrack. He's able to save it before he gets in the wall.
Behind them, Peter Fisher and Mason Johnson got together as well. Peter Fisher got way up the racetrack. He was sideways, and he was able to hold on, but now he is under fire from Ricky Howell, and he's going to try to fight back on the outside of Mason Johnson. Doesn't want to give up this spot just yet. Now he drops down behind him.
Now a nice little crossover move from Peter Fisher. He's going to go from the top to the bottom down the back straightaway in the 71 car as he will look to the inside of Mason Johnson. He wants the spot back. They'll be side by side off of turn number 4. Nice move from Peter Fisher.
Yeah, Fisher did not want to give up that spot, and he was at risk of maybe losing a position to Ricky Howell. He puts Mason Johnson back on the outside, and that's going to allow Ricky to come up the inside of Mason Johnson. Now Ricky's looking for maybe getting 2.
Ricky Howell thought better of it. Now he'll make contact. Mason Johnson up the racetrack in the number 7 machine. He's going to lose a few spots. There goes A.J. Rogers. Here comes Josh Shaw. Jeff, there's a gaggle of 17 cars running together right now, and I don't like this. This is not funny. That's A.J. Rogers, Josh Oswald, and Reagan Parent, the 17 train, as they try to go by Mason Johnson.
Well, here comes Brendan Lee, your quick qualifier, trying to work his way back to the front. He was involved in that last caution.
And he's dragging another number 10, Jeff. What's going on around here?
I think we got about 2 or 3 car numbers in use right here in this series, and we're looking at him right now as Mason Johnson. He's going to be under fire for Brendan Lee, who is just flying and dicing through the field.
Ooh, Mason Johnson shut the door going down into turn number 3. He did not want Brendan Lee to get that run. Made him basically check up going down into turn number 3. Moving back forward again. We got another battle on the racetrack. Hunter Harriet and Tony Quadros are going to be side by side off of turn number 2. Hunter Harriet, you talked about it, Jeff. We just talked about him going to the back of the field after a wreck. He's all the way back up to 6th place.
Yeah, Hunter is really trying to get back to the front very quickly as we work lap 68 of this 125 lapper, and he is putting a lot of pressure on Tony Quadros. And I'll tell you what, Quadros is not giving him an inch. He is holding them on this outside line here. And we've seen the middle throughout the night, last night, start to come in, and it's starting to look strong again as now finally Hunter Harriet clears them. But that was 3 or 4 hard laps of racing there side by side.
Yeah, a little bit of door banging. Tony Quadros did not like it. He's going to turn the 81 car, and that was pretty clear. Now Josh Oswald's going to spin as well, and now Hunter Harriet caught in that one. Might want to watch the 81 car. I'm sure he is not happy. There was some door banging. That was some good racing between those two drivers. Hunter Harriet might be on a mission right here, Jeff.
Yeah, we're going to keep an eye on Hunter as definitely not happy. He voiced his frustration on the radio, so we'll keep an eye on him. Again, retaliation, and not something you want to do here. It is severely penalized, but to me, it looked like just the 12 car got in the back of him. I mean, I don't know if there's any other way to call that one.
We'll go look and take a look at that replay, but we watched the battle happen. It was a great battle between those two drivers, and it just seemed like the 12 car got a little bit heated. Yes, there was a little bit of door banging. We'll show you that as well. There was the door bang down into turn number 3, and from that point forward, I think Tony Quadros was pretty upset with the 81 driver and voiced his displeasure. Let's see, chrome bumpered his displeasure down into turn number 1, and then just didn't give him an opportunity to get that car righted. Fortunately for Josh Oswald, he's caught in it as well. That is not what we like to see.
Well, Hunter Harriet, our winner at Hickory earlier this season, is out of this race. He has called it a night. Second incident he was been involved in, and he has decided on his own that he just doesn't want to take part in this anymore. So he is headed out of the racetrack. Looks like he's going to finish about 26th position as Bryce Fauntleroy is still out there making laps, 4 laps down. I believe we're going to see JP Bergeron pick up a lucky dog this time and be back on the lead lap in the 23rd position.
Hey, Jeff, that might have been one of the easiest calls you've ever had to make.
Yeah,
that was a C-car don't hit car situation.
Yes, C-car don't hit car. That's what we talked about tonight is, I mean, if you get in the back bumper of somebody, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. And we definitely let them know that is going to be called 100% on you every single time. Robert in the chat cheering for Braxton DeWeese. And I've been keeping an eye on this 8 machine because I know he's got a lot of speed and he has just been riding back in about 15th position. He has been behind kind of the mess that's going on. And I think Braxton might have been watching the race recap or the race last night. And I think he might have based his strategy on, I'm going to hide in the back and make a run late. And he is currently running 15th, got a clean race car. And he's probably going to have some good tires at the end of this one.
Are you saying that Braxton DeWeese is a smart race car driver?
I mean, that's what I would do.
So are you saying Braxton DeWeese is Jeff By Jr. or a smart race car driver?
Well, I don't know if they would call that smart.
That's what I said. It's either Jeff By Jr. or a smart race car driver.
Yeah.
Jeff, I don't think I've ever known you not to charge. I mean, come on. Let's be honest here.
I liked passing cars. That was my thing. So I don't know how I'd fare in this late model stock car because I like to go. I don't like to wait. And Cody Boehm, he got out front early on, and he has not been waiting either as we go back to the BSRM restart zone with Jason Warren, Mark Keeman, James Pileski. Here we go. Green flag racing once again, the Island End 125. Jason Warren going to beat the 78 to the line. He had to check up, and that's going to allow Mark Keeman to maybe roll by this 45 machine.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit of a gift from Jason Warren as Jason Warren got way too far out front, and now you see him slide off of turn number 2. Really not the position that Warren would wanted to be in at this point. Now he's using tires on the outside in that 45 car. It's just a poor choice on the restart. As they looked down at turn number 1, Warren looked at the inside. Keeman showed that he was going to shut the door, and now Warren's going to slot back into 3rd.
Well, behind them, Ricky Howell and Peter Fisher just got together. The 71 got shoved up the racetrack. Ricky Howell took the spot. Peter Fisher now under fire from the 7 of Mason Johnson. And these guys still trying to get themselves single file. Here comes Brandon Lee, who was in the inside wall, and we thought is going to have a tough night, and he is charging back into the top 10. He is now up to the 9th spot.
Yeah, Wisconsin Wallace, top qualifier, quick time award winner in that 10 car. He has had issues so far tonight as he's going to bang doors with the 71 car. He's going to have to, and they'll bump again down the front straight. Man, I love this late model stock. Any other car in iRacing, that's Peter Fisher going to the inside wall, but these guys just beating and banging down the front straightaway.
And Peter Fisher has been used up in the last few laps here as he has been getting a lot of contact. And it looks like Brendan again going to get up into the door of the 71 machine. And this might just be some frustration with these two. These two have been through a lot tonight, and they are kind of taking it out on each other as Brendan Lee goes back up into the 71, going to drive him up the racetrack into the wall.
Oh, Peter Fisher got the outside. I actually thought to myself, you're going to have to lift, man. That's not going to stick. And he did catch the outside wall in the 71, so now damage. You see the right front tire on the 71 now sticking out. It's outside the fender. There goes Bladen Edwards in the 72 car. He's going to take the 10th spot.
Bill things are heating up front as Mark Keatman is trying to make a run on Cody Boehm. Boehm going to try to make the move to defend. He doesn't get there in time. The 2 car has the inside line, but can Cody battle back on the top side? He does. He clears Mark Keatman. Now Jason Warren's trying to find a way past the 2 machine.
Jason Warren was looking on thinking this was his opportunity, but that battle ended fairly quickly as Keatman had to back off and drop back in line. Jason Warren right there in the 45. Great battling for your top spot. Cody Boehm continues to be under fire.
2 car trying to get around Cody Boehm. Here comes Josh Cole looking for 4th on James Pileski. Pileski gonna just let that machine go. Gonna let the 9 machine have the 4th spot. He'll fall back to 5th.
Josh Cole having one of the best races I think I've ever seen him have in that 9 machine. The RKM set up shop number 9. Patriotic paint scheme on that car, but they lose a little bit of time to the top 3 drivers as those guys are still battling up front. Keatman trying to find a way around.
And you saw Ricky Howell as well trying to get around James Pileski. So he took a look down to the bottom and said, hey, if you're going to let that 9 car go, why not let me go? And Pileski shut the door on him.
Here comes the bottom again. He's at the bottom again off of turn number 4. Still can't make the move off the bottom. Here comes Jason Warren. He's going to look under Keatman. You tried to make the pass. Now I'm going to try to get you. This is great battling for the top spot.
Absolutely. Keatman is on the move. And that's another one of those RKM drivers that new to the series tonight in the number 2 machine. And he is trying to get to the lead right now as Cody Boehm being very, very defensive.
Ricky Howell and James Pileski, they just made contact off of turn number 4. That's for the 5th position. You can see Mason Johnson there in the 7th. More contact. And now Cody Boehm's down the bottom of the racetrack for the lead, and Keatman to the top spot.
Keatman got in the back of the 78, got him sideways off turn 2. Boehm had to go to the bottom to save it. Keatman takes the lead. Jason Warren is pushing the 2 machine into turn 1.
Man, oh man, we do not charge admission for these races. Maybe we should. This is pretty good right now. Now, Jason Warren into the back straightaway wall. He's going to take damage on the 45. Cody Boehm retains 2nd spot. Here comes Josh Cole. Where has Josh Cole come from tonight? He's looking to put his number 9 car into the top 3.
Yeah, Josh Cole is having a heck of a run, and I tell you what, he's been one of the smoothest cars on the racetrack as well. And look at him as he goes around Jason Warren. That thing is glued to the racetrack. He is looking very solid.
Josh Cole to the bottom. Jason Warren on the high side. A little bit farther back, AJ Rogers is making a move as well. I wish I had picture-in-picture, Jeff. I think one of the broadcasters you had last week had that.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, is there so much good racing on this racetrack right now. But this is the best battle, and the farthest one forward is Josh Cole still trying to get around Jason Warren.
Well, Mark Keatman has opened up about half a second lead over Cody Boehm, and so this is the best battle right here. These 2 battle for 3rd. Now behind him, Ricky Howell trying to make a move on Pileski. He dove that thing all the way to the bottom, chases the 93 up the racetrack. Josh Cole is sideways in front of him. Here they come, and Ricky Howell's going to have nowhere to go.
Josh Cole had to check up because of the sideways situation, and now he's going to go into the wall. One of those big wrecks, and he's going to collect other drivers. Pileski into the back.
Braxton DeWeese gets collected. Josh Cole's run just ends there in the turn 4 wall as he got hooked in the right rear.
Oh my gosh, it started off at turn 2. Cole got a little bit sideways off at 2. We're going to try to give you a better angle of this, as this is the one we watched. We don't want to see that one again.
Well, I'm telling you, Bill, I'm looking at it immediately, and it just looked like Josh, he was trying to be defensive with Pileski coming up on the outside. He tried to send it in turn 3. Pileski is there, and the 9 car comes up the racetrack.
Oh, Bladen Edwards absolutely taters the 9 car. Peter Fisher with some nice driving there in the 71 as he was able to get by everything. But yeah, he goes in. The 9 goes into the corner and just walks up the racetrack. And Pileski's out there. And I think Pileski even backed off. I mean, you see Ricky Howell was way back, and Pileski was trying to let the 9 gather it up. You see how much ground Ricky Howell gains on that whole group as Howell clears Pileski through the corner. So Pileski clearly lifted. We'll go inside Pileski's camera view here as he'll watch Cole have that issue off the corner. You can hear it here.
Yeah, Cole tried to get back to position, which was get back to the middle line, and he tried to send it in turn 3, but Pileski just had that momentum. He had that run. He was there on the outside. And the 9 car kind of came across his left front fender and just misjudged it just slightly. But Josh Cole was having a heck of a run, the best we've seen from him. And that's a sign of maybe some of that work he's doing with RKM is starting to come in, and Josh Cole's going to start to become a real contender in this series.
Absolutely. We don't root for drivers, Jeff, but we do like to see guys have a good night, right? And this was definitely Josh Cole's best opportunity for a really good finish that we've seen him have, at least in a long time. It's
Bill, I'll tell you,
to see his night end like that.
Bladen Edwards is still on the racetrack. Bladen is 2nd in points coming into the night. He got collected in that. He got a ton of damage. The other guy that got some damage in that was Reagan Parent, who's still sitting in the 8th position. he also came into the night third in points. And so with JP Bergeron having a rough night, this is going to be a huge shakeup in the point standings.
I'm not worried about the point standings right now, Jeff. I want to see who's going to win this race. That was a crazy battle. I'm kidding. The point standings are fun, but that was a crazy battle for the lead. Like I said, we don't charge admission for these races, but man, oh man, was that good out front.
Well, Mark Keatman going to restart for the first time as the leader. He's going to head for that BSRM restart zone with Cody Boehm now on the outside of him. Jason Warren, Ricky Howell, third and fourth. Brendan Lee, our quick qualifier, has found his way back into the top 5 now. So we'll see what Mark Keatman has on these restarts, what it'll do. We've never seen him restart as the leader, and he is off and away, and he kind of caught the 78 sleeping. It's going to be a battle for second at the start-finish line as Keatman is gone.
We've got a battle for third. Cody Boehm slots in second. Jason Warren, Ricky Howell, they're going to be side-by-side off in turn number 2. And Jeff, if it hasn't been high enough already, the price of poker has definitely gone up with only 30 laps remaining. Warren on the bottom, able to clear Ricky Howell, or is he? Ricky Howell fights back on the outside. Gotta love Nashville, the way the outside's able to fight back. And now contact between Brendan Lee and Howell through the corner.
Yeah, they got together in middle 1 and 2. Brendan Lee was able to get it back down the racetrack, and Ricky Howell able to continue on. Didn't really force him up into the third groove, and that was a good thing for Ricky Howell because he's got Mason Johnson back there lurking as Reagan Parent gets together with Pileski. He got big time sideways, and where did that 09 come from? Elliot Carlson into the top 10.
Elliot's doing Elliot things once again. He did this last night. Elliot Carlson is moving forward in that 09 car. Everybody look out. Elliot likes to save tires.
Well, Mark Keatman is out front, but Cody Boehm runs second, and he's starting to get the train lined up behind him. That's Jason Warren, Brendan Lee, Ricky Howell, Mason Johnson, AJ Rogers, James Pileski, Reagan Parent is the caution to get a wave on the front straightaway.
Chris Tinsley's around in the 10.
Yeah, Chris Tinsley in the 10 car around.
And it just might be him, but I think there was contact. We'll take a look and see what happened in the 10.
Immediately, it looked to me like a netcode incident. We'll have to get a good replay of it.
He just goes sideways in the corner. Let's try to figure this out. Yeah, netcode between he and Braxton DeWeese, it looks like, as they went in the corner. We saw that happen, I believe, earlier? Or was it last night? I don't know.
Yeah,
a lot of
it looked like the 10 tried to shut the door on Braxton, and then just the last minute thought better of it, tried to move back up the racetrack. And the predictive code on iRacing said, no, you two hit. And didn't quite get there, but definitely the 10 realized at the last minute, I got to get a little bit higher on the racetrack, and it was just too late.
I think he was catching... that just was really weird. I agree. I agree with everything you said, Jeff. I wasn't listening, but I agree. I'm kidding, I was. I agree. So Mark Keatman in his first race in the series, leading your race right now over Cody Boehm, Jason Warren, Brendan Lee, and Ricky Howell. Mason Johnson runs 6th, AJ Rogers 7th, James Pileski 8th, Reagan Parent 9th, and good old Joker, he's moving up into the top 10 again, just like he did last night as the laps start to wind down. But again, Jeff, he's being hurt by a late race caution flag. If he's been saving tires, he wants to see this thing go green.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys that maybe have burned up some tires at the front, maybe want to see more yellows. If it depends on what they're hearing. You know, some of them do have those crew chiefs that'll tell them whether they're starting to wear the tires out. And I heard last night some of the guys were saying with 15 laps to go, they were getting that message that their tires were basically gone, and they didn't know how gone. So it's got to be a little terrifying to hear that message, and you're out front and you still got 24 laps to go here. Looking at the field, Mark Keatman, Cody Boehm, Jason Warren, Brandon Lee, Ricky Howell, your top 5. Mason Johnson runs 6th with AJ Rogers, James Pileski, Reagan Parent, Elliot Carlson in the top 10. Kieran Church, who got spun on the initial start, is back into 11th. Bladen Edwards, 12th. JP Bergeron, 13th. Braxton DeWeese, 14th. Peter Fisher runs 15th. Terry Bates, Drew Chance, Josh Oswald, Brad Carpenter, Tony Quadros, your top 20. And still running on the lead lap, Jason Lottridge in 21st. Rick Rube, Chris Tinsley And then Bryce Fauntleroy still out on the racetrack in 24th. He is now 2 laps down. He got a lap back here on this caution. Well, we are doubled up with the 2-car, Mark Keatman and the 78 of Cody Boehm. These two have been out front all night long. It started off with Cody Boehm, then Mark Keatman took the lead. Last restart, the 2 got away. Did Cody Boehm learn anything about the restarts for the 2-car? Here we go, heading to the Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone. We're going to go back to green with about 21 laps to go.
Jason Warren might have gotten in the back of Keeman right there. That slowed down Warren on the bottom. Now he's going to get a challenge from Ricky Howell. Everybody's stacked up as we enter turn number 1.
Yeah, easy into turn 1. You got to get off the bumper. The guy ahead of you is Brendan Lee, going to be shot out of a cannon down the back straightaway, trying to pull ahead of the 45 of Jason Warren. Cody Boehm in second. Mark Keeman was able to clear the 78 machine. And here comes Brendan Lee. Can he clear Jason Warren? He does. He's up to third.
Brendan Lee, your quick qualifier tonight in that 10 car. He is on fire. What a run off in turn number 2 he gets. Now we've got issues in the back. I think I saw the 31. That was Brad Carpenter that had issues in the back straight away.
Yeah, Brad is turned around here and brings out the caution on lap 105. It looked like he got together with the 88 machine. That's Terry Baker.
Good news for Brad. I don't think he hit a whole lot. I think that car's not going to have a tremendous amount of damage.
I think Josh Oswald made a little contact with the 31, turned him all the way around after he was just about spinning. And similar deal to what we've been seeing, Bill. It looked like the car on the outside, a corner exit, just starts to, he comes down the racetrack and right across the right front fender of the 31.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Yeah, I think that's got to be on the 88. I just don't see anything that the bottom car, Brad Carpenter, did wrong here. Maybe he's up the track a tiny bit, but not much. I mean, it's super tight racing. Turn 2 is a funnel at this racetrack.
Well, it looks like Fauntleroy going to pick up another lucky dog, so he'll be 1 lap down in the 24th position. Still 24 cars running in this one.
Fauntleroy's thinking, one more yellow, and I get to pass some cars.
Well, this is why you just keep out there, Fauntleroy, just making laps, hoping for some more attrition. So still Keatman out front of Cody Boehm, Brandon Lee, Jason Warren, Mason Johnson. And then Ricky Howell runs 6th with AJ Rogers, James Pileski, Reagan Parent, and Elliott Carlson. And we're still keeping an eye. There are some cars back there that they just haven't seemed to make a run yet. And I really thought the 8-car Braxton DeWeese, that he would have been coming to the front, but it looked like he might have suffered some damage in an incident a couple cautions ago, and he just hasn't been able to make any progress now with that 8 machine.
Another car I thought we'd see come forward. I mean, I guess top 5 isn't bad, right? But Mason Johnson had slid back a little bit. I think Cody Kelly heard us telling him to slow down. He had slipped back just a little bit, saving those tires, and I thought maybe the 7 would have a little bit for the end here. Maybe he still does. I'm not saying it's over with, but he does have a little bit of damage on the right front of that 7 car as well. I don't think there's a whole lot of cars out here, Jeff, that don't have a little bit. These guys have been beating banging quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We had, I think, the first 11 drivers and then several in the middle of the field that qualified for last night's SDI Ireland Cancer Research Fund Clean Driver of the Race Award. So we'll see how many come out of this one with 0 incidents. I do see a couple clean cars. I think the 17, AJ Rogers, been pretty clean all night long. Mark Keatman, Cody Boehm, who's been out front for a lot of it, has had a good clean race. The 45, Jason Warren, as we hit that Brett Suggs Racing Marketing restart zone. The 2-car Mark Keatman is back on the loud pedal. Here comes Brendan Lee looking for second as Boehm, again, just didn't get a great restart.
He's going to be on the high side. Here comes Brendan Lee into the bottom. Brendan Lee's been on fire lately in that 0-1 machine as he looks to the bottom of Bowman. Oh, big Jason Warren's in the outside wall. He's going to turn Mason Johnson down the back straightaway, and now big wreck. Mason Johnson backwards in turn 3. All I saw was Jason Warren absolutely clobber the outside wall coming off a 2, and then it all squeezed together.
Well, Mason Johnson and Jason Warren restarted side by side there, and coming off turn 2, almost identical to what we just saw. One car coming down, one car coming up. They meet in the middle, and it just takes the 45 and the 7 to the outside wall.
Oh. It funnels, man. It just funnels. There's nothing you can do there. I mean, other than give each other more room.
Yeah, and I'm watching this one, and both cars look like they hit a bump. The 7 goes up, the 45 comes down. They just meet in the middle, and once they made that initial contact, it shot both of them up the racetrack.
Yeah, there's a little bump. You can see the 7 car kind of porpoise there.
Yeah, it definitely really shot the front end up the racetrack on them.
Watch the 7 car. You can see the right there. It's like the rear end squats, and Mason just jumps up a little bit. And at the same time, the 45 turns a little bit better. And then this part's not good.
Well, Bill, Bryce Fauntleroy back on the lead lap. He will pick up the Lucky Dog, be back on the lead lap in 24th position.
Jeff, I think that's going to dial up a single file restart on this next restart.
Yeah, it will go to a single file here because they did not complete a lap. So it might be good for Mark Keeman. I think it's going to be good for Cody Bohm because Cody has been under fire from Brendan Lee on these last couple of restarts. And this might help the 78 maybe focus on the leader and not so much who's coming up the inside of him on these restarts here. Well, it's been an up and down day for Brendan Lee, who sits 3rd. He quit qualifier, had the invert, sent him back to 6th. He started 6th, was up in the top 5, got turned around, charged through the field. Now he finds himself 3rd here as we are getting about 10 laps to go under caution right now. AJ Rogers runs 4th. AJ started 20th. He is up to 4th and early contender for that, or late contender for the Adobe Mountain Speedway Hard Charger Award. Jason Warren going to run 5th, but tons of damage now to that 45 machine. James Pileski runs 6th, Ricky House 7th, Reagan Parent 8th, Elliot Carlson 9th, JP Bergeron 10th. And remember, JP came from the B main as well, so 23rd to 10th for JP Bergeron. As we are going to see a single file restart. Mark Keatman going to take us to that Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing restart zone with the number 2 machine with Cody Bohm behind him, Brendan Lee, AJ Rogers, and Jason Warren lined up single file. Well, here we go. The 2-car Keatman going to take us green flag racing. He gets control of this restart. He is off and away. Cody Bohm, not the best restart, but he isn't under fire from Brendan Lee like he has been.
James Pileski was able to get to the outside. We'll have to check to see if he jumped that restart, Jeff. But he got to the outside of Jason Warren. Might have gotten that position before they got to the start-finish line. Now, Jason Warren under fire. And he is going to wreck hard with Ricky Howe. The Reagan Parents involved. Braxton DeWeese is involved. Oh, man, and the whole back of the field comes sliding by. That was an interesting camera shot.
Well, Ricky Howe and Jason Warren get together, and we were just telling the 93 he's got to give that spot back, and then that spot, Rex coming off turn 4. Jason Warren involved. Reagan Parent was involved. JP Bergeron got collected. Peter Fisher involved.
Now we're going to go all the way back to that restart, Jeff. We're going to watch Jason Warren here. The cars in front go green flag. Jason Warren has the checkup. James Pileski decides not to and drives around the outside of the 45. So that puts Jason Warren in an odd position, but that 45 is beat up from that previous wreck, right? So that car's probably not driving all that well. And now Ricky Howell, who looks like he has a pretty clean race car, is going to come to the inside in turn 3. And now all mayhem's going to break loose here as Jason Warren actually gets sideways, gets into the door. Then a lot of cars wreck. Bergeron involved as well. Now Rick Rube and Terry Bates, Chris Tins. I laugh because they're just random cars come sliding by going the wrong direction. That's interesting. Let's try to figure out what happened to Rick Rube here. But that was Jason Warren with a broken race car that caused that, Jeff. Oh, there's just a big checkup and some cars don't. So it looks like everybody starts to check up after they see. We'll watch down the front straightaway.
And the 88 just tumbling over the top of people there.
Well, it's that giant spoiler that you can't see through the car in front of you. And nobody yelling check, check, check on the radio. There were some cars. Bergeron was spun. Peter Fisher spun. Rick Rube got on the brakes, but unfortunately right behind him, Tinsley couldn't, and then other cars piled in.
And Braxton Louise involved as well. So that got a lot of cars there. We will reset the grid here because Mark Keatman still out front, Cody Bone, Brendan Lee, AJ Rogers, James Pileski was asked to give a spot back, but those guys wrecked, so he is going to restart 5th. Elliot Carlson got through that one. He's going to restart 6th with Ricky Howell 7th, Reagan Parent 8th, Kieran Church 9th, Braxton DeWeese 10th. And so Ricky Howell was involved in that caution. The 45 of Jason Warren claimed that one. He got on the radio. He said, that was my fault, completely me. So the 20 car going to restart 7th. A little damage there on Ricky Howell's, but he's going to continue on.
Yeah, Jason Warren had a broken race car from the you could see there was a lot of damage on the 45, but he tried to keep it going. I mean, that's what you're going to do, right? You're going to see if it works. And it worked through 1 and 2, and then coming off of turn 4, it just got loose on him. He went into the door of the 20 car, and that kind of caused the whole pile up there. So, I mean, that's what obviously you're going to do that, right? As a race car driver, you're going to try to keep your car going. It's iRacing. You don't have to pay for the extra damage that you have, yeah. But unfortunately, that car got sideways on him off of turn 4, but I mean, we got a shakeup now, Jeff. It's all on the table, and we're gonna go. Is it gonna be a natural green white checkered here?
It's looking that way because pace car lights are out, and then he should be doubling them up here. Cody Bowman gonna go to the outside. It'll be a natural green white checkered, so not one of the 3 that were allotting them. So we might have 4 green white checkers if these guys can't settle it.
Let's not. Let's just finish this one out.
Mark Keevan, Cody Bowman, Brandon Lee, AJ Rogers, now James Pileski 5th, Elliot Carlson 6th. Here we go. Green white checker for the Islander in 125. Round number 5 of the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger. Can newcomer Mark Keatman take the win in his first start? He is off and away. Cody Bone wasn't able to hang on the outside, and that's going to allow the top 3 there to get side by side.
Keatman shot out of a candy. Cody Bone trying to hold on to second place. Here comes Brendan Lee on the bottom of turns 1 and 2. They'll be side by side down the back straightaway. Bone, a little bit of a slide off of turn 2. Brendan Lee to the inside.
Well, Keatman is starting to pull away as Brendan Lee and Cody Bone battle for the second spot. Keatman's going to see the white flag, 1 lap to go. They're almost 3 wide behind him. Bohm is going to get some contact with Brendan Lee. Here comes James Pileski up into 3rd. Bohm is falling back. He's under fire from Ricky Howell, but it's all Keatman down the back straightaway.
Bohm's going to fall out of the top 3. James Pileski into the top 3. Mark Keatman going to come off the corner and win the Islander in 125 in the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series.
Mark Keatman gets the win. Brandon Lee 2nd. James Pileski 3rd. Ricky Howell going to come home 4th. Cody Bohm falls back to 5th. AJ Rogers 6th. Elliot Carlson 7th. Kieran Church 8th. Reagan Parent 9th. Drew Chance in his debut going to come home 10th.
Finishing out the 11th spot, Braxton DeWeese. Bladen Edwards finishes 12th. Josh Oswald 13th. 14th, Tony Quadros. 15th was Bryce Fauntleroy. After getting that lap back, Jeff drove all the way up to 15th. 16th, Jason Lotridge. 17th, Peter Fisher. 18th, Terry Bates. 19th, Chris Tinsley. 20th, Mason Johnson.
So Brad Carpenter going to finish 21st, followed by Rick Rube, JP Bergeron, Jason Warren, Josh Cole, Hunter Harriet, Josh Van Gore, Kyle Martinson, JJ Chansey, and Travis Roma, your 30 starters tonight. Bill, it was a bit of a rough one, but we did get some pretty good racing in there, in between some of the wrecks. But Mark Keatman comes out the winner, and we didn't see the strategy we saw last night because these guys really went hard from the get-go.
Yeah, there was a lot of beat and bang. I mean, Mark Keeman, we're going to see his car here in just a minute if we get a Victory Lane interview with your winner. But his car's beat up. I mean, he won the race and he's beat. So Brendan Lee, we saw his wreck earlier, had some damage on the front of that number 10 car. He's got a bunch of damage. But yeah, Jeff, they went hard here in the late model Challenger Series. But like you said, there was a point in the middle of that race that was super super fun to watch. There was some great racing through the middle. Unfortunately, we had some yellows down there towards the end, but I mean, it's still pretty good racing in that race. And Nashville was a fun place.
Well, Mark Keatman going to join us. And Mark, it's not often we see a guy show up for his first ever ITZR race and pick up a win, but you did just that here at Nashville. And first, I got to ask, what brought you to ITZR?
I've just been seeing it around on Facebook a lot here last few months or so, and I've been thinking about it to join, but I finally made the decision to go ahead and do it. Paid my entry fee today. Literally accepted the league invitation today, and I mean, the only expectations I had was I was hoping to be at least a top 5 car. We qualified kind of poor, which is we were still up front inside the top 10, but would have liked to have been a little bit further up front. Uh, and then the beginning of the race, that was just wild. I don't know how I dodged a couple of those wrecks, and then especially the initial start, that one was pretty wild. But overall, I had a fun race. That was some really good battling with Jason and Cody there for third and first.
Well, first of all, Mark, welcome. It's great to have you, man, and a beautiful race car you put on the racetrack, and clearly a fantastic performance. But did you come into this race with any kind of strategy, or was it just kind of survive, do the best you possibly can, and see how it falls at the end?
Well, I knew that we didn't get any tires in the pits, and the track was scorched. It was probably 135 degrees throughout the entire race, and just I saved, I thought, for long enough there early on, but for some reason I really didn't save probably past lap 50 or so. This thing just had a ton of drive in it. Whoever built this setup, props to him because this thing digs.
Well, that's our setup builder, Daniel Pope, that put that one together for us this week. And I'm glad you enjoyed the setup and the racing, because there was a lot of wild racing there. You had a battle with Cody Bohm for the lead. There was a little bit of contact. He got down the racetrack. He completed a pass on the outside. And was it just a matter of you just had to get alongside of him? It seemed like you had gotten to the inside a few times and you just couldn't complete the pass from the bottom. Once you got to the top side, did you kind of feel like that's going to be the winning move right there?
Yeah, I definitely didn't mean to run in the back of him there off of 2. I thought he was going to get up off the corner a little bit better, and I was just hard on the gas trying to stay with him and got him a little loose. So I'm sorry about that, but yeah, you just couldn't pass on the bottom. I tried to pass Jason probably 3 or 4 times on the bottom, and you just have so much more momentum there on the top side to really hold him off. So once I got to the top, that was probably easiest. I made a lot of passes on the top tonight.
So, Mark, when you saw it, as we came down towards the end, obviously we had a bunch of yellows, but you had to have seen that 10 car start to appear as he was driving through the field. Was there any thought that you might have to defend the top spot, or did you feel like you had more left in the car that you could have just driven away when you wanted to?
I feel like I could have gotten away if I wanted to. Like I said, this thing was just on rails. I probably could have driven this thing another 50 laps and been fine, I feel like.
Well, Mark, before we let you get out of here and celebrate your win, we always like to give people a chance to shout out, the people that help them with their sim racing, whether it be open setup, fixed setup, official stuff. Is there anybody you want to thank for, helping you out and getting you up to speed with this car?
Yeah, I want to thank Ryan Kuhn with RKM Setup Shop. He's been a big help here in the last couple months. Really taught me a lot on him coaching me on stuff to do. And I asked him for advice before the race, and he just told me to save, save, save. I thought I did enough, but I also had to push really hard there throughout the entire race to make any sort of track position. So thanks to him. Thanks to Justin Brooks Designs for the sweet car. Always a pleasure doing business with him. And yeah, just my friends and family who watched the broadcast tonight, and you guys here in the broadcast booth, and all the people that put on ITZR.
Well, Mark, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. We know you had to find the Discord. You weren't even part of it yet, but
That's how new I am, man.
We're glad to have you here with us, and we hope to see you next week at the Bull Ring. We're going for 125 laps on the tiny little Bull Ring in Vegas.
I don't think I have any plans, so I'll plan on being there. Should
Now
be a
you
lot of
do.
fun.
Now you do.
Yeah, now you got some plans. All right, Mark. Congratulations. Great job.
All righty. Thanks, guys. See y'all.
Well, Brendan Lee joining us now, our second place finisher. And Brendan, I kind of think I said it earlier in the night. It was a roller coaster up and down night for you. Quick time. You were running in the top 5. You got collected in an incident. You go to the rear. How did you charge through the field like you did to get all the way back to second?
Well, first off, I got out of my car. I'm sorry about that. I'm so used to just getting out of my car, but I saved a whole lot more tire tonight than I did last night. I kind of learned my lesson last night. I set a pace and I didn't think it would be that bad. And about lap 60 or 70 last night, it was bad. So I kind of rode more tonight, and when I wrecked there, I was kind of worried a little bit, but I felt like I still had a good enough car, and we were able to drive back through there. I think we missed a wreck or two. Um, I really would have liked to see it go green there at the end because I run my fastest lap on the last one, so I would have liked to see what I had there for the win. But overall, it was a good run.
So, Brendan, you said that the car felt pretty good. I mean, we're taking a look at the car right now. It's kind of live. We were able to get a shot of it there before you jumped out. But the front end is junk. You said the car felt pretty good even after that happened.
Yeah, I was shocked. I know I had a little bit of damage, but really, the wheels are straight and everything, and it really didn't drive bad. Like I said, I ran my fastest lap on the last one, so I don't know. Maybe the damage hurt me. I mean, helped me a little bit.
Well, we talked about at the beginning of the night that some of the experience you guys that ran on Monday were going to have was going to help you out. Did you feel like that might be the case? Did you learn anything Monday night that carried over to the night?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, Monday night I kind of set a pace that I thought was okay. I've kind of been doing that in these races, and it seemed to do okay. I end up getting in a few wrecks every now and then, but I kind of learned last night. Like I said, I set a pace and it didn't work out, so try to back it up a little bit tonight. And even after the wreck, I guess we still had enough tire left to drive back through there.
Well, you sure did. You're on rails at the end. But Brendan, we always want to give people an opportunity to talk about their real life racing. And if I'm not mistaken, you drive a Charger car. Am I wrong? That's you, right? Are you still running that this year?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are. We've been putting a car together, and I think we'll be back in action next weekend at Florence. So.
Well, why don't you explain what a Charger car is? Some people might not know. They're pretty awesome.
So it's basically a late model. I mean, it's the same chassis. There's a few different suspension things and motor. No bump stops in the Charger class and the smaller carburetor. And normally it's run on scuff tires, but with a tire shortage being as bad as it is lately, and then finally starting to get some new tires. The scuff ones have been just really bad. So they actually started putting us on two new now. So that'll be the only difference this year. So.
Well, Brendan, before we let you get out of here, is there anybody you want to thank? We know it takes a lot of people to be able to do this and race in real life. We know that's a lot of work. So if there's anybody you want to thank on either side of the aisle, do it now.
Yeah. I guess this be a good time to shout out my real life sponsors because they helped me out a good bit. But I want to thank Good and Boys Racing, Mason and Hunter. They're my buddies. They run Tuesday night too. But I want to thank Hartsville Country Club, Rains Hospitality, DSI Metals, Monraga Roofing, and Brown's RV Superstore. They helped me out a lot in real life, and I'm very thankful for them.
You'll be happy, Brendan. We have a pretty good shot of him on the broadcast for you. So good
Sweet,
stuff.
good deal.
All right, Brendan. Thanks for talking to us. Congratulations. I mean, you picked up $5 right there in qualifying, and you came through with a second place finish. Congratulations. It was still a fantastic run tonight.
Yes, sir. Like I said, I wish we could have got the win, but we had a strong car at the end, so we'll build on it and go to next week. So,
All right, we'll see you next week at the Bull Ring.
see ya.
Well, our third place finisher going to join us. And Bill, this has been kind of a fun week because we've seen some guys come back this season and this week specifically that we've gotten to talk to that we haven't seen in a long time. And James Pileski going to join us. James was a regular, I mean, way back in the day when ITZR started.
Oh, yeah.
And we've raced with James a lot. And then you kind of disappeared on us, James. And you came back to what was it about this late model stock that got you to come back to iRacing and sim racing and ITZR?
I just like this car. It's fun to race with. It's really racy. You can use the outside lane and like the super late, you can't ever do that. And you have to like the super late, you have to start so loose because it gets so tight at the end of a run. I don't know. It's just not fun to me. I still run it sometimes, but this car, like iRacing really did a good job with this car. I hope they don't screw it up.
Well, talk about tonight's race, James. James, you were kind of caught in the wash there for a little while, and then came forward towards the end, which is, of course, exactly what you want to do, right? So what was the strategy, and was it difficult to kind of keep yourself as clean as possible throughout the race?
Well, I had to start 30th, so
Yes, you were in the wash. That's the wash. We're calling it that.
yeah. In the beginning of the race, there was a lot of carnage. Like I think the first 2 cautions, I don't think I ever got full throttled at all, and I was up like 6 spots already. So once we started going, everybody was really trying to save, and I was lifting early and like letting it roll a lot and trying to not, make my tires squeal any, but still go forward because I didn't want to be sitting back there because that's a hornet's nest. You don't want to be back there. It's bad stuff happens back there. And I don't know, in the beginning of the race, like it all kind of just worked my way and I was able to make it up to the front. And then I got up to, I don't know, 6th or something. And I think Ricky Howell had got into the 16 and I had nowhere to go there. And I got like, my car looks destroyed, but it was still fast. So we just kept digging.
Well, you restarted 5th on that final green white checkered, and they started getting together in front of you. Was that kind of just the seas parting there as you were able to slip by everything that was going on?
Well, I think with like 10 to go or something, I was in like 8th place. And I kept getting stuck on the outside, and it just didn't seem like it was working for me. And then the outside finally worked. I got to the bottom, got to 5th, and then a caution came out. And to be honest, 3rd place was just lucky tonight. Like if Brandon didn't get into the other guy, I don't know his name. Cody. Yeah, if he didn't get into Cody, I wasn't finishing 3rd. I was happy with the top 5. My first 2 races back that I've tried to do, I've kind of stepped on it myself. So I was just happy to finish.
Well, like Jeff said, it's great to have you back. And of course, before we let anybody go, after we get done talking to him, we want to let them give a shout out. One of the things you have on your car kind of harkens back to something that I was used to running with some of these guys, but the posse on there. But who do you want to give a shout out to that helps you out in iRacing?
Definitely all the posse guys. Majeski's a huge thing, obviously. Hold on, let me get this list here.
He's got to go to the list.
Hey, there's a bunch of them here. I don't want to miss nobody, right? All right.
We're under time constraints here, James. No,
sorry. All right.
I was kidding.
Don't rush him. Don't rush him.
Hey, Majeski, Spearman, Wilkinson, Tedeschi, Cody, Derek Rest, Derek Kraus, Drew Krybach, Jacob and James Linkowitz, Joe Schaefer, Kevin Berg, Kyle Eli, Mark Logan, Riley Stenjum, Ryan Blanchard, Stanley Bragg, and Stephen Shore.
Well, that's a good segue for us because I heard some names we're going to see on Thursday night when we go back to Sarah Super Series racing, the Heights Pride 150. I believe it's Southern National this week. So the posse will be out on Thursday night as well. So you had a good showing for him here in ITZR, and I'm sure you guys are tuned up, ready to go for Thursday night as well.
Oh, absolutely. They were working on it as I was racing.
Well, James, like we said, it's good to have you back. It's good to get to talk to you. You've been a bit of a stranger around here, so we hope to talk to you again in the top 3 pretty soon.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me back, Jeff and Bill. Means a lot to you guys let me back. I know I'm kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, so thank you.
All right, James. Good job today, man.
Thanks, buddy.
Well, Bill, that is a wrap for us, the ITZR week. 2 races for the Islander in 125, and I mean, they were both pretty fantastic races. This track, this car combo, the setup that Daniel Pope gave us, he did some stuff to make sure that we were going to have a race, and we had a race both nights.
Jeff, I want to know though, when was the last time that somebody told us or admitted to us that they were a pain in the butt? I want to. What was that? Like, right? That's good stuff right there.
Yeah,
but yeah, absolutely. Daniel Pope put out a gem this week. I mean, compliments up and down the board. We had that last night. We had it again tonight. And the oddity of the way that the server gets set up and whatnot, and the way that the weather works, did change a little bit. So we had kind of 2 different races. Guys were like, don't change anything, but there is a little bit of variation in there with the skybox, and it changed the track a little bit tonight. But the setup still worked. It was still a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we get to enjoy the fun part of the week, which is we get to kick back, we get to watch some racing, we get to commentate it. Thursday night, we'll be back in action. Those races start about 10 p.m. Eastern, a little bit later than our normal broadcast, but we'll be back for the Sarah Super Series, the Hides Pride 150 from Southern National, open setup racing. You're not going to want to miss that. I mean, Southern National, that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with that
Fight
this car at that
for
track.
The bottom. Fight for the bottom. That's Southern National.
That is the definition. I know we're racing the bull ring next week. Southern National is the definition of a bull ring. It is a bowl of a racetrack.
Yeah, they're going to fight for the bottom. They're going to try not to slip. Guys are going to try to get runs down the straightaway. It's going to be wild. We'll see it on Thursday night. And then, of course, we're running the same exact type of track next week on Monday and Tuesday. So I think a lot of the stuff we'll see Thursday, we'll see it again Monday and Tuesday next week.
Yeah, absolutely. So be with us Thursday night. And then, of course, next Monday and Tuesday, it's the 8th, May 8th, May 9th. It'll be the B&A Science Bull Ring 125 from the Bull Ring in Las Vegas, Monday and Tuesday night for the Elite Performance Industries Late Model Shootout Series and the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger. Make sure you're with us. 9 p.m. Eastern will be the start time for those. 10 p.m. Eastern for our Thursday night race with Sarah. Thank you guys for hanging out with us all night long on Facebook. It's been a ton of fun. And now me and Bill are going to take a little bit of break, come back on Thursday night. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and we will see you there.